And so, how have I changed my behavior? I changed my behavior by simply being. I changed my behavior by being right there in your face. That's the easiest way to do it. I can talk until I'm blue in the face, but if I'm standing in the room, I dare you, to quote Hamilton, I want to be in the room where it happens. I want to be right there because I want you to look and see what you're saying. Now, there's a big chance that it's not going to matter that I'm standing right there, which is okay because the reality turns into it's not on me. It doesn't say anything about me. It says more about you. And so that's the thing. Like I look at Preston's list and yeah, there are events in the community that I know I'll never go to. Like I have people who've even said to me, girl, don't waste your money. It's not for you. And I'll call them out. For example, last year or 2 years ago when we sashed the new Iowa leather family, or hell, better yet, when I got sashed, one of the things in the prize package was a pass to go to Claw. I didn't get one. And that's okay. Because my grandma taught me, baby, you don't have to go places where people don't want you. You can stay home. So I do. Like I said, I will not willingly participate in my own oppression. Like I know we're not supposed to yuck on people's yum, but baby, I'm gonna need somebody at some point in time to explain the fuckery of race play to me, because I just don't get it. I don't. I like it is one that I don't understand. And like, baby, if that, I'll say it. Baby, if that gets your dick hard, great. But I can't sit and have you willingly call me racist names, and that's supposed to make me excited. I am not here to live any. I'll use myself. I am not here to live your black southern black bed wench fantasies because you think I want to be on a plantation. No, honey, my family left for a reason. I'm not trying I'm not trying to willingly go back.
Yeah, that's interesting because what I mentioned before with what happened, because I became runner-up in GLLA, I didn't have to go to the nonsense of ILSB that year, where we got that demo of cattle slavery right in front and center. That part wasn't even the part that bothered me the most. What frightened me the most was seeing almost the entire audience doing a standing ovation after that, and some of them carrying weapons. What message did that give people who are not white? The only way we're welcome is if we're less.
It says that you have no value. And that is the thing that I've never, somebody had a post today, or somebody had a post on a meme on Facebook, and it was a picture of a young black gay person, and on one side they had a police officer with a gun, and that person was calling them the N-word. On the other side, they had a black person with a gun aimed at their head. But this person is standing in between two guns. And on one side, it was the stuff you go through with racism. And then on the other side, it was the sort of hate against the GLBTQ plus community that happens sometimes from your own community. Because as people of color, we have our own baggage from the communities that we come from about being queer. And it to grow up in that, I navigated the black community being abused every step of the way because I was feminine, etc. And I don't, at this point in time, baby, I'm too old and I don't have the patience for that level of stupid anymore. So I don't put up with it and I don't deal with it on a regular basis. I don't have that level of energy. There are other things that I can do. I would rather make the world pretty for us to live in than have to deal with that. You know, to use my favorite Medea quote, baby, I'd rather sit in a corner by myself with a puppy and a goldfish than have you in my life raising hell and causing me grief. Because if you won't, I will beat the hell out of you, rebuke the devil, and call on the name of Jesus all at the same time. You know, try Jesus. Don't try me because I fight a little. You know, and that's the thing. What, you know, to quote it again, when are you, like, this is my question, when are you going to get sick and tired of being sick and tired? Because sometimes that's what it's about. Sometimes you don't make the change until you've had enough.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just really quick, Shadi, if you could speak to how you've had to then shift your behavior as a result of all the things we've been talking about today, just really quick.
And to go off of Preston, what he said, we're getting yet another unpaid job for white people. We are having to speak, talk about this, and find another way to try and find a solution just to exist. And my trigger event for how I started dealing with everything was 3 people on social media, because they were upset that I was going ahead and pushing that pushing acceptances of geekiness, of active consent, and actually just being kind of like a soft teddy bear and also a dom at the same time. 3 people on Facebook all gathered together and started saying that they were going to put me into my place in the back room of Touche and show me that I was really a sub. And that scared the heck out of me, because, you know, you'd think you'd see more people standing up for you, and a wall of silence from the general community. There were a few people who did stand up and saying, you cannot do this, you need to like get off this. But that made me feel unsafe. I honestly stopped going to Touche and Jackhammer, 2 adjacent King Flyers, for several months and withdrew because on top of that, they had started calling my workplace and trying to out me there. Luckily, I was hired with the full knowledge of my boss's boss being in the community, and as well as the head of general counsel, so I was fine. But it was a protective barrier to withdraw. What ended up happening is that I started thinking in that withdrawal and be like, this is happening to me, the 6'3", pretty intimidating looking guy, pretty strong. What is happening to all the little brown boys and girls, Black, Asian, everyone else? If I stay silent, then those people oppressing win. And that just can't be. What I needed to do, and what I want to do once this pandemic starts coming, is do what I wanted to do when I ran, and mentor again. Try to find the little baby queers, gays, trans people, and remind them that they have a voice, show them how they can develop, give them access to resources, to my time, and just to my conversation and truth. And then continually actively recruit allies who will defend you and speak up for you. Not just say they support you, but actually show it with time, effort, and honestly, their finances. Because they need to put their money where their mouth is. Do they support us and have the means? Do it. Because the people who are inactively contributing to our oppression need to switch. They need to show that they are our allies. And that's going to be what I'm focusing on once this pandemic's over.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I think the common thread that we're all kind of seeing here is that, like, we've all sort of had to do things because of this sort of anxiety, right? Because, like, for example, the idea that we're telling people, like, hey, like, these are the events, this is what you need to look out for, versus now, because of the fact that, like, you know, we're doing things and that we're speaking up, suddenly what ends up happening is they then dox you, or in Alex's case, mentioning that, you know, we have to face it head on and having to be more direct and be more visible and to really address this. And so just to kind of, you know, put a sort of bow onto pretty much everything we've been talking about today, because I know that this can be pretty exhausting, and I know that maybe this is laying the groundwork for a larger conversation about bullying and harassment. Is there, what is your main takeaway for this conversation? Like, what is the main, if you had to boil down everything that we talked about today and into one main message, what would your message be for folks? Alex, I'll start with you.
My main message is always going to be live your bliss, live your best life, because you're the one who has to live it. I understand, trust me, babies, I understand firsthand the level of chaos and the level of madness that goes with being Black, brown, being a person of color. At some point in time, you have to look at yourself and you have to take charge of yourself, because the world is not always going to be friendly and the world is not always going to be kind. And so you are going to have to make your way, and you're going to have to be okay. Baby, be okay telling bitches to move. I mean, the song says it perfectly. Move, bitch. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Say move, move, move. Just move.
Thank you. Shadi?
You're not alone. This is happening to each and every one of us. And I know it sounds like we've said this over and over again. You've heard it, but you are not alone. We've all experienced it in some way or another. The level of, honestly, white nonsense. And it needs to stop. And not only from white people, we've got experiences from people of color, BIPOC, who are acting in the interest of the majority white culture. So my takeaway is that there are people here who are willing to listen and talk and help engender change. Take advantage of us offering our help, our counsel, and our time.
Thank you. And Preston?